All right. And I remembered to record. Hallelujah. It's a miracle. All right. So we have a few people that are not going to be on the call. So I'm going to record everything and then we'll go from there. But the beginning, I just wanted to tell you guys, Summit has like absolutely changed the name of the game for us. And I just wanted to take a minute to tell you guys how inspiring it was to be there. To work with somebody for almost like 6 to 8 months and never see them face to face and then have this amazing bond with them when you meet is an incredible thing. So we met with a lot of our team members in person while we were at Summit, and it was just the most powerful thing to bond with people and like just know that you have the same vision for something. I will be honest with all of you. I went into this with a great deal of skepticism because for me, I needed to have the proof that Beachbody was really what they say they are. And I didn't want to go to this seminar where everybody was like, sell, sell, sell. Like, you need more volume. You need to recruit more. Like, I literally sat in a room and Cassie and Joanne, who you'll meet in a little bit, and Deborah, hi girl. All four of us sat in a room and the CEO of this multi-billion-dollar company sat down in a chair in front of us and was like, the only way this is going to work is if it begins with love. And it was like the most powerful, like I have cold chills thinking about it. Like it was the most powerful thing that I think was really said the entire weekend is that, you know, here you have this guy who's like filthy rich sitting in front of you and telling you that this will never work unless you really care about the people that you're reaching out to and unless you really care about yourself enough to go on this adventure and to share your story and to be brave. So I think the thing that this has instilled in me in this, and Cassie will speak to it and Joanne will speak to it as well, is we all left taking away something different each time. I left with a sense of peace that this company really does back up what it says. They've made donations to all these charities and like, it's incredible what they do. It gave me more faith in myself and who I was, and where I'm headed. And it gave me the faith to just stop apologizing for it, because honestly, we are changing lives. It's not just a slogan. It's not just something we throw on our photos and post on our sweaty selfies. Like, we are seriously changing lives here. And there were so many people at this event that had changed their own lives, and that's why they became coaches. That's what's so different about this company, is that these people have like put in the time and put in the effort and like made the difference for themselves, their families, and then chose to share it. So that's really powerful. Because we met in person and because we had this powerful connection, one of our friends and co-team members, Joanne, decided that she wanted to kind of merge with our team, and we wanted to do a collaborative effort and kind of do a super powerful collaboration. So she's brought a few of her team members along, and so I'm going to introduce Joanne really quickly, and she's going to tell you a little bit about herself and her team and how she's got started and wanted to kind of collaborate with us. But Joanne is a 1-star diamond. She is a super strong leader, even though she doesn't give herself enough credit for it. She is very organized and is a nurse anesthetist. So Jess, you'll have lots to talk about. She has worked really hard to get to where she is. She's a mom of 2 girls. She is engaged to a wonderful guy who supports her really well through this business. And he's a personal trainer. I might even start doing this one of these days if we can get him on board, John. So she is really, really motivated, and Summit really inspired her as well. She's gone through some personal things with health issues with her mom. And so she's faced struggles just like the rest of us, but she is back in it full swing, and we're excited to have her as part of the team. So I'm going to unmute her. Or Joanne, you might be able to unmute you. You got it.
Hi, everyone. Thank you to Nasia and Cassie for letting me join. So, quick story, how I got started into Beachbody. Basically, I was overworked. I worked multiple jobs. I had gotten divorced several years back before Beachbody, but I was still dealing with the debt from my divorce. And I just was like working like an animal and putting myself last, of course. My children were first in my life, not realizing until Beachbody that you really need to put yourself first so that you can take care of everyone else the best that you can. So I was running myself down, and I really just had given up, literally, like just given up. I would look at bodies on TV, not that it's about, having a ripped body, but I'm like, oh, I'll get there one day. It's just busy. I'm really busy now, but I'll get there. I got to the point where I remember sitting down and I saw a commercial of like somebody exercised, and I'm like, it's over. It's done. I'll never be in shape again. Again, I'm not saying like rock hard abs, just in general, like feeling good again. It's over. And like 7 months before that, I had a friend that she was drinking Shakeology. She told me about it, and she told me the price. And I said, oh no, that's too expensive, because again, my kids came first and I couldn't use money on me for Shakeology. I had to use it on them. So I said, I believe you, because I trusted her. I said, I believe you all the way. I'm sure it's working for you, but it's not for me because I can't spend that money right now, maybe in the future, because I reminded her of herself. She said, you're exhausted all the time, So then 7 months later, I get this email for T25, and my main issue too was time. I did not have the time. I mean, I worked 4 jobs at the time, literally 4 jobs, night shift and day shift. And so I'm like, how am I going to get to the gym? And I know there are 24-hour gyms, but I'd have to wake up like at 3 a.m. because I'm literally pushing meds at 6:30 in the morning at some of the jobs I had. And then the other times when I was working nights, and it was just too much. But I'm like, wow, I can work at home in 25 minutes. I mean, Insanity I had tried, but that's like around 40, 45 minutes. I'm like, no, it's too much. It's too much time. So 25 minutes, there was no excuse. So I called her and I'm like, I want all in. Shakeology, T25, I want it all. I'm going to do it all. So I'm all motivated, and I get to the second week, and they put me in a challenge group, which I was like not wanting to be in. I figure, well, I could get motivated. I'll stalk everybody. I'll go, put me in. That's fine. I'll just stalk everybody and get motivated. But then they introduced me, and I'm like, oh, now I got to actually participate. Next thing I know, I'm posting every day. And by the second week, that whole high that I got at the beginning, I'm like, this is it, I'm doing it, was non-existent. I was done. I was like, I was exhausted. I remember literally waking up, because I had to wake up at 4 a.m. to work out when I worked day shift. And I was sobbing. Like, I remember that feeling like it was yesterday. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. Life is too hard. Why do I even have to get up at 4 a.m? Why can't I just work out like a normal human being after work and go to a gym, And then because of those people that push play in those challenge groups, that's why I'm like, I can't let them down. They're going to post their pictures. And of course I was cursing them all the way down the stairs, but I was like, darn it, they're going to post and I'm going to have to post and whatever. But, of course I did it. And by week 3, I was hooked. It was over. That was it. I was unstoppable. And I had such a great transformation with T25. I had lost like 20 something pounds. It looked way more than that, because, it's not about the weight. It's like the inches. But you see in my before and after, I was just blown away, and I felt like amazing, like a different person. I was alive again. I had hope again. Before I had lost all hope. Now I was believing again. And my kids saw the difference. That was the best part was my kids were like, Mom, thank God you found Beachbody. I quote unquote, that's what they've told me. Like, cause you were like really spiraling down. So, and I was in the kitchen one time talking to them, and I was actually present with them. I hadn't been like that in a while. And I just started, I'm a crier, but I was crying. I was like, oh my God, I'm alive. I'm alive again. I'm here present with them, because I used to think about 20 million other things, but so then I was like, I have to share this with the world. I have to. I mean, people need to know that if they're in a rut, and even if they're not in a rut as deep as I was, that there's hope out there, that they can make changes, that they have control. I need to tell everybody. So I thought, well, I should probably be a coach, but I'm like, I don't have the time. I'm too busy. I work 4 jobs, and I'm driving my kids here and there across town. And then they proposed it to me. And I said, I guess that was the validation I needed. And I remember I was going to start Orange Theory the next day, because now all of a sudden I went from not having any time and I have all this energy. I found all the time in the world to work out. and I wasn't finished. I was almost done with T25. And I said, you know what? No, I'm not going to join Orange Theory. I'm going to just do T25, because I want to know what this program does for me. And I can be proof of the product. This is before I even really grasped the whole coaching thing. I wanted to be honest with it. And that was it. Then here I am now. That's it. And that's how I got into Beachbody.
That is awesome. And so you are the leader of another team, Team Define. So will you introduce the members that you brought on board with us as well?
Thank you. Deborah Diaz. She's was my mentor, taught me, was precepted me when I went to anesthesia school. She had been a nurse anesthetist for several years. She just recently retired from the Navy. And she's also the president of nurse anesthetists in the state of Florida. And then I have Rowena, who's a nurse as well, and she works from home now, and she's got 2 beautiful kids. And also Deborah has a son. And Rowena's children are into sports, and she's that's it. Those are my girls.
Awesome. Well, Cassie and I co-lead this group. So welcome, Rowena, and Deborah. You know all about us. You don't need any more introduction. She had to spend the whole weekend with us, though. But we're really happy to have you guys joining us, and I think it's going to be a great team effort here. We're always open to new suggestions, and we really are excited about having you guys be a part of this, because the more eyes that are on what we're doing and the more suggestions and recommendations and feedback that we get, the better and stronger we become. So it's really great to have you with us. So I think we're going to go a little bit into talking a little bit about Coach Summit. Kathy was going to start the conversation about Summit and just a little bit about this year and our experiences there, and then talking a little bit about preparation for next year. I didn't realize the value of live events until I attended this one. And I think, you're going to hear it in everybody's voice. Like, it's just a very motivating, very powerful, and awesome experience that does nothing but strengthen you. So I'm going to leave the floor over here to Cassie and let her tell you a little bit about our experience.
Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Okay. So I kind of had the same feelings that Tanasia has about Coach Summit. Is I guess I underestimated live events. I used to always want to miss Super Saturday, and I never really thought they were important until I started going to them. And I don't know if you got some of you have been to Super Saturday, some of you haven't, but these live events, like, I don't know what they do. They really make it real for us, because so much of what we do is online, and it's amazing to connect through the internet and through our challenge groups and support each other through messaging or even over the phone. But like Tanasia said, I worked with her for 8 months and I had never met her in person. So it was just this overwhelming feeling of just love and friendship. And I know Deborah can say that because she came to Coach Summit and she was even considering coaching or not, and just came and experienced something incredible. And there's so much positivity, and it becomes an emotional thing, because you start to feel like you have a family. And I know that seems like almost tacky at times to say that, but it's true. It's like you feel like you have a family. Like, I feel like you guys are like my sisters. So when you get to go to a place, like this destination, it's like a destination wedding, but it's like a destination community. It just brings you all together in a way that I can't even explain. And the information they provide there and all the events, it's just incredible. And I know we need to talk about the cost of Summit, and I'm sure a lot of people are wondering what the cost is. And to be honest, they changed it from last year the last 2 years. This year and the last year were Nashville. So I had a pretty good idea of how it was going to look. Obviously, I don't think the cost is going to change much for New Orleans. And I think we really need to get down to we can crunch numbers and get down to exactly what it's going to cost us. But there was some things that we did this year that saved us money opposed to what I did last year. And last year I was in a condo. I was in a cheap hotel with 2, 4, 6, 8 people. and we all shared beds, we did this, Tanasia, I love sharing a bed with you. We all shared beds this year too, but it was different. Like last year I was in a cheap hotel and it was far away from the convention center. So I had spent a lot of money on Ubers. Also last year, because we were in a hotel, we didn't have a kitchen, and we bought food out the whole time. So not only did we not stay on track with our meal planning, but we also spent a lot of money eating out, which is something we didn't do this year. So we spent a little bit more money on the condo, but we didn't have to Uber. We walked everywhere, and we went to the grocery store straight away, and Mama Joanne prepped all our meals for us. So I think learning those in those two different scenarios, I would definitely go with the second one, the way we did this year. And I would much rather share a bed with all of you guys than, you know, be Ubering all over town and spending time and money in restaurants. So I think we can, depending on who's really serious, and if we really, like, I know Joanne already booked a place, but who's really serious, we can look into reservations and cost, and we can figure out what it's going to cost us all and break it down, and hopefully get everybody's family on board. Try to communicate the importance of this event. I just made a video today, and I was just thinking about this today as well as last night, is that sometimes our families don't really understand this business, and it almost doesn't even seem like a real thing to a lot of people. And it's like, oh, okay, that coaching thing, that's not a real job. But I guess we have to sort of show them the value by, and I think we talked about it earlier with Tanisha and Joanne, reverse engineering this whole situation. So showing them the value, the way I did it, I can only share my experience, is I got my husband to support me because I wanted him to believe in me. And I didn't care if he understood the business or if he believed in the business, but I needed him to believe in me and support me. So I kind of had to set boundaries because, you know, like with this online business, and you can be doing it 24 hours a day from home and have no boundaries whatsoever. But to get your family on board, I really feel like we need to create boundaries with Beachbody so that we don't neglect our families. And I had to sit down and have a real conversation with my husband and ask him what he needed from me. What do you need from me in order for you to feel okay about Beachbody? Because he was starting to be resentful how much time I was spending on my phone, on my computer, and just doing all this crap that he didn't think it was important. And he felt like I was neglecting the family. And I think maybe I was a little bit. And he needed me to, so for my example was, he needed me to spend time having dinner with my family. He needed me to set work hours and to share my work hours with him. So I decided to do early mornings and spend evenings with him. But those were just the things that he needed from me. And as soon as I started setting some boundaries with Beachbody, my husband started seeing how serious I was, number one. And he even feels motivated now by how serious I am in this business. And number two, I had separated I didn't neglect my family. I had separated Beachbody from family time. And I feel like he respected it so much more because I wasn't taking it away from him, wasn't taking time away from him. So that's the only thing that I can share as far as helping our families understand how important this is to us and getting their support. And I think our families understanding these live events being a crucial part of our business is super important. And it might take some time and just some serious love and conversation, but I think it's possible. Do you agree with me, Tanisha?
Yeah, I think, so Kathy and myself, Joanne, and Deborah, stumbled into a talk that we didn't necessarily sign up for. And it was talking about spousal support.
Forgot about that.
Spousal support. And we were all sitting there and we were kind of like, okay, like, you know, but they really had some great takeaways, even though we didn't sign up for it. And the girl in front of us was like, I didn't sign up for this conference, but I'm so thankful that I walked in here because I need to hear this. So what they had said, some tips that they had given was that to make a specific time to discuss this with your significant other or with your family or whomever is having difficulty with it. Because a lot of times it's misunderstanding about what this is all about and what it means to you. And usually you're talking about it in fits and spurts and the kids are running around and they're knocking things down and you can't have a conversation where you can really focus on one another. So he said, in this case, it was his wife that wasn't supportive. He said, I had to make a specific appointment with her to sit in total silence, no TV, no distractions. And I had to come clean with her and say, this is really important to me, but not as important to me as our marriage and our family. But I truly believe that this is going to help our marriage and our family. And I need you not to be on board with Beachbody, exactly what Cassie said, not to be on board with Beachbody or anything else, but I need you to be in support and be on board with me. People will sense your fire and will sense your passion, but until you ask them for things, a lot of times they don't know what you need. And until you ask them, you won't know what they need. But sometimes, you know, there can be a disconnect. And I know that I've had people telling me that, you know, there's been that disconnect. And I've had that experience with friendships, but not in my marriage. But like, it's been so difficult for me with friendships. I can't imagine what it would be like to have a significant other that wasn't being supportive. So if that is something that you're dealing with, just know that, you know, talking with them and doing this and being open and being vulnerable, even with that story, and letting them know how much it means to you, it may not completely convince them. They may not sign up as a coach the next day. They may not hop on board and go to Super Saturday with you. But I think that it will get you one step closer to them knowing that you're serious about it, because this is something that people don't often understand or don't take seriously. I just had a friend that reached out to me yesterday, and she's like, I'm so proud of you and what you're doing. You made me start Shakeology, and I started doing T25 with my husband. We signed up under, you know, whatever, and they signed up under another coach. And I was like, you know, which is great. But she's like, you're the reason I started. And I was like, oh,
That's happened to me before. Like, you've inspired me so much. I became a coach. I'm like, great.
I know. I was like, that's so awesome. But crap, you know, like I was like, no, I'm not.
Happens to everyone at least once.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even like, I told my husband that because he knows the couple, and he was like, oh my God. He's like, yeah, they just don't get it. And it happens, but it's because like sometimes in trying not to be salesy and trying not to like, you know, spew beach body everywhere. Sometimes
they don't know what you're offering. Sometimes like they don't know that you're offering anything.
Like, anyway, so just, that's all I'm saying is just put it out there. Like, just be vulnerable to it and everything. I know all of you are, but you know, that's just some advice that we stumbled upon during Summit that was helpful. And just made us feel more comfortable and like made us realize that we had all kind of had those conversations.
I didn't think that I had, but I had.
Yeah, they're really important. So I've had that conversation with Chris before, because I was going to bed with my iPad and like, you know, I mean, like you have to set boundaries or it can swallow you. So
I had listened to a call once, and someone that was highly successful in the business had said, you know, we're just talking about scheduling your time. And I've also read this in a really good book called The One Thing, if you guys are interested in like time management and how to focus. But it talked about when you make your schedule, schedule your family time first, vacation, and then family time first, and then put everything else around it. Because think about it, you could like be super crazy successful in this business, but if your family or your loved ones aren't with you, what's the point, you know?
Yeah.
And like you guys have done, Tanisha, Cassie, and you know, with the conversations you've had, and you've figured out that's what I had to do. I was really bad about it too. I had to figure out what were my times for my family, and then build everything else around that.
It's hard. Like I find myself like trying to check my messages or like do things, and Finn's running around, and then I get that like guilt, like crap, I shouldn't be doing this. So it does help to have a schedule. Cassie, what else did you have?
What else did we? The only thing I was going to touch on was that and cost. Even though I'd love to give you guys exact prices and what Summit will cost, but I literally haven't figured that out yet. So
we talked about talked about doing some research and just finding like, you know, we have to figure out the location, and then we'll look into flights and hotel and like get you guys a ballpark of what it's going to be. Cause like Cassie said, this is something I learned at Summit too, is that like, you can't follow a map if you don't have a destination.
Right.
So you kind of have to make your goals ahead of time and then work in reverse to see how to get to that point. So that's something, you know, like with going to Summit, we need to know the endpoint cost so we can work to get you guys there. The same with our businesses. Like, you know, Jess reached out and asked about a goal the other day. And I think that's wonderful for you guys to have a goal in mind so that we can do exactly what we need to do to get you guys there. So
that's something I think within that same, was it in Mickey's talk? She was talking about, I don't know, she was talking about the leadership ladder, but more or less like reverse engineering your goals and knowing exactly what you need to do to get to a point. And that's something that I think we all could benefit from, you know, like kind of, even if it's small or big, all of it. Like it would be nice to, because I guess it gives you like a really specific idea of what you need to do.
Yeah, they're a team, they're a pair, and they were stuck at like 2-star diamond. So they had a beautiful team, and they had a couple people that had reached diamond, but they were stuck at 2-star for like a year, 2 years, something like that. And then they set a goal and like made a plan to get to it. And within a year, they added 13 diamonds to their network. So I think it's just one of those things that when you're going willy-nilly, which is something that I think Cassie and I struggle with sometimes, you don't always get to the end point because you don't know what the end point is. So what we definitely learned at Summit this year was we have to make more decisive goals, which is something I'm going to talk to you guys about a little bit. So we will be looking at Summit and trying to plan and get specifics for you guys, because I know that that's important. And knowing, and I think, like Cassie said, I think we have some good information from this year versus last year on being closer to the event so you can walk if possible, and having a kitchen so you can have meals. I know that this is the first vacation I've ever been on that I didn't come home bloated and 25 pounds heavier, because we actually ate real food all the time, and we had a kitchen and we could prepare meals and stuff. So it was good. So what I wanted to talk to you about tonight is just those feelings of empowerment, and kind of getting fired up to push towards some goals. I know that some of you guys are going to participate in the Team Cup this month. I want to approach that with the thought that there is no freaking way that our names are going to get engraved on that cup.
Nope.
I want you all to just be like, phew, okay? I want you to take a big deep breath. The people that got the cup, like that won the cup, had like 5,000
Success Club points.
A bajillion Success Club points. And they've been in the business for like a cumulative of like 85 years, and the company only existed for like 7. So take a deep breath. It's not that big of a deal. The big thing that Cassie and I wanted to do the Team Cup for is, just as much as our groups are important to keep us accountable for our bodies and our Shakeology and our eating plans and stuff, I feel like my hands look really big right now. The Team Cup is just as important for us as coaches, because we need to be held accountable for everything that we're doing. And a lot of us, and I'm saying this from personal experience, Mimi, you made it.
Mimi.
Hi. So I'm talking from personal experience. I'll be like, I'm going to invite 10 people today, and I'm going to get it done by 7 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm going to go out and I'm going to run 15 miles, and I'm going to come home and I'm going to shower, and I'm going to make a 7-course meal. Like I make all these goals for myself that aren't always realistic. And so one of the things about Team Cup is that I want us to set realistic goals. And for the people that are not participating in the Team Cup, we still want you to be present. So we're going to have a message strand, but we're going to put all of you in it. Okay. So the people that are going for the cup, you probably won't, by the end of this, we won't even know who's in the cup and who's not. We want everybody to be involved, and we want you all to get the same tips that we're giving to the people in the cup, because every person on this team is really important, and every person on this team deserves the information. So we want you all to be involved. The people on the cup, don't put undue pressure on yourselves. This is really just an exercise for team building. We want you guys to know that you can, and we don't have to talk to you about this. Like, I read that message strand every day, and I swear my heart grows like 4 times every day.
I know.
You guys are like messaging each other and helping each other. And if you have a question, like somebody's right on there. Like that is, I told Cassie at Summit, like we are building the team that we've always wanted, because you guys lift each other up. You're there to support each other. Nobody, at least I don't think you guys feel like you're completely in the dark, because every one of you, if Cassie and I aren't there, you're leaning on each other. And that's huge. Like that really is meaningful. So we want you all to get really great information from what we're doing and what we're sharing. And we hope that it's motivating to you guys, because it's motivating us to keep those goals. So like my goal every day is to invite 10 people. That's hard. It's hard to do.
Wow. That's a big goal.
It's hard to do. It's been impossible for me. But I think if I have the accountability of you guys behind me, and when I say inviting, I don't mean being like, join my challenge group. I mean talking to 10 people a day. That's still a huge goal. So I want you guys to set realistic goals for yourself. I think I'm going to drop mine to 7 to do it in the challenge, because that's what I've been capable of doing. And 10 just seems like a little too much. For you guys, I want you to do 2 or 3 people to start. Like, just if you're doing 0 right now, private messaging, I want you to set your goal at 1. And when you reach that, set it at something else. It's hard to get used to. And I think the biggest thing that we all have trouble with, and I'm speaking personally again, is that I don't know what to say. Like, I don't want to reach out and sound like a total asshole, like, I don't want to look like, I don't want to ever say anything and then have somebody come back and be like, what? So what I've done is I've listened to about a bajillion calls on inviting people and scripting and things like that. And as much as we don't want to follow a script and we don't want to sound like a bunch of robots, we need to have some idea of how to start conversations, how to lead into them, what to say, how to follow up, and at least make it a guideline. So I spent some time and I've written out a long script. It's like, I think it's 8 pages or something, but it's like from beginning to when you're closing in on them saying yes or no. So it starts off with you introducing a conversation, like how to message them on Facebook or how to whatever. And then it goes through the steps of getting to the point where you form them. And then once you form them, it gets you to the point for looking for signs of, whether they have any needs that you can help with. And if they don't, you don't message them. You don't ask them a question. You don't invite them to a challenge group. If they're talking to you and it's way off base and there's nothing you can help them with, then you can't just drop the bomb and be like, well, join my challenge group. Like, you have to wait for them to show you some kind of need, or you will look like an idiot. So those are the things that, I didn't know at the beginning. And I was like sending out blanket invitations and not forming relationships and not talking to people and not looking for those signs. And I've lost a lot of potential people because of that. So that's the big thing, is that Cassie and I didn't have a guide, and we wanted you to have a guide to bounce off of. It might not be what you use every single day. It might be something that you need to tweak. And I encourage you to tweak it because you want it to sound like you. When you're having a conversation on the phone, you can't be sitting there and be like, Mrs. Smith, I would like to, you have to be real about it. Like, you have to make it your own. It has to be in your language. It's just like your posts. If you copy and paste somebody else's posts, people see right through it because they know how you speak and what you really are all about. So,
yep, doesn't sound like you.
No, yeah. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if I can do it real quick. Can y'all see that?
Yep.
Okay. So this is just like the basics of what I did. And I'm going to post this in our group. And I want you guys to just look over it and everything. And we're not going to start tonight, but next week after our team call, we're going to have an additional period of time where we're going to go over inviting and scripting and stuff like that for the people that are in the cup. And for the people that aren't in the cup but that want to be involved in it, we encourage you to stay on for a little bit longer as well. We're going to create that team thread I was talking about and message, and we're going to have you guys each set your goals for the day. And then we would like to have a daily check-in. And if you miss a day, it's just going to be like our challenge groups and stuff. Cassie or I or Joanne will check in at the end of the day and just say, hey, how are you guys doing? And then you guys message and say, hey, I had a really rough day. Like, I wanted to message 3, I only did 2, or whatever it takes. But just having that extra accountability. I know I had the conversation with Amanda, and Amanda was like, I would sit there all day and not message anybody, but if I have to tell you, then I'm going to message people. So that's just what this is all about. And there is no guilt here. There is no competition. There is no anything. The only people that we are trying to better is ourselves. And honestly, I am participating in this because I need the help too. I need to get on the horse and I need to be more comfortable. And the only way to be comfortable with this is to use it and to get used to it and to perfect it. Because the more, it's just like inviting to challenge groups. It's intimidating at the beginning, to even post an invite on Facebook. But as you get used to it, you're like, oh, this isn't so bad. That's the same thing we have to do with private messaging. We need to take the fear out of it. So it goes through everything. It's if you're contacting an existing client, if you're reconnecting with a contact that you knew before, I I don't know that there's a cold invite on here, but I will show you how to do a cold invite. There's continuing the conversation. So if you start a conversation and you got disconnected, and then it's forming them and looking for signs. So signs are strengths, interests, goals, and needs. So if they have any of these, you know, like if they're really strong in nutrition, you could be like, hey man, I think you'd be awesome in these challenge groups. I'd really love for you to experience with me. I think you'd be an asset and you could help hold the group accountable, you know, any of those types of things. And then once you identify that need, then you say, you know, I noticed that you mentioned you were good at nutrition. And then you go into that. If they have a need for business or income, there's a way to introduce the business opportunity to them. There's a way to talk to them about, hey, if I could send you a video, would you have time to watch it? And how to follow up once you send it to them. There is a bunch of stuff on like preparing for the follow-up. We feel uncomfortable following up with people only when we don't set an appointment to do so. Because then we sit there and we're like, ooh, what if I contact them and it's a bad time? Or, ooh, what if I catch them and they're not really ready to commit? Or, ooh, what if they didn't watch the video yet? If you're going to send them something and you say, hey, well, you have time to watch this, when's a good time for you to watch it? And they give you a time and you set a follow-up appointment, there's no mind stuff going on there. You have an appointment and you're going to keep it. So it has here, what happens if you call back? It's you call them back and you start the conversation. How are you today? How was work? And then it goes on. And did you have time to watch the video or whatever? It says, so you got a chance to view the whatever, right? And they say yes or no or whatever. Did it make sense to you? Tell me more about that. What did you like best? You are constantly asking people questions. The more that you listen and allow them to fill the silence, the more apt you are to hear something that you will have strength in telling them, hey, well, guess what? So, you know, you need shorter workouts. T25 is 25 minutes long. Or you feel like you're having cravings in the evening. Shakeology is amazing for that. Let me tell you why. Like those types of things. It says, let them talk. Don't feel the silence. It will encourage them to fill it and they'll tell you more detail. So all of us, I am uncomfortable sitting there and staring at somebody and they're not saying anything. So I tend to talk and I talk over them. So I'm learning not to do that because I have learned so much more by just being quiet. And then what if you call them back to follow up and they don't answer the telephone? What do you do then? There's scripts on how to do that. There's how to leave a polite message to be like, hey, I'm worried. I didn't hear back from you. When we talked, it seemed like, you know, you were really committed to your appointments. Like, will you just give me a call back and let me know that you're okay? Like, that's legit. Like, if I have somebody and I make an appointment with them and I call them back and they don't, you know, they're not present, then I do start to get worried because I keep appointments. There's what ifs. So, like, what if I refer them to a video and from someone else and they want to sign with that coach? Like, we have all these worries. So, hey, will you turn the lights on back there? We have all these worries and like notions about what could happen, or, you know, what if they don't answer when I call to follow up? What if, you know, what if they say, is this a pyramid scheme and I'm not into sales? Like we have all of these things that kind of help you with those different issues. So, that is why I created this. It does have gaps. Like I said, it's more for your warm market and not for the cold marketing. So I'll get a little bit more into the warm market and stuff like that at a different time. Hi, buddy. But I'm hoping that this will kind of give you guys some guidelines and it will help it be less scary to initiate those first couple steps. Because I know for me, I needed a little bit of guidance before I knew how to even begin. So I'm hoping that's what it is. The other thing that I wanted to leave you with is, if there's anything that I took away from this, it's work with the willing. I know that it's so painful for us sometimes to be like, you know, I told Cassie, I had a client that I was like super pumped about. I met him when I was skiing. He was like super into everything. He was like so funny and whatever. He's been on one of our team calls before. He was super jazzed about the business opportunity. But never like took the steps to sign on the dotted line. Like, he showed up to a team call, for goodness sakes, but then he was like, he's not keeping appointments. He's not keeping up with me, and like, he'll answer every single message I send him, but he's saying things, but he's not doing things. So that's what I wanted to leave you guys with. You guys are here for a reason. Like, we're investing time in you guys because you guys are serious. You show up, you're here, you're making the time, you're working with one another. You know, you guys have formed success partners within the group. You're leading challenge groups. You're making the effort, you know, like, you guys are really putting yourselves out there. You're reaching towards Success Club. You're talking about the opportunities. You're posting on social media. You're doing things that take you way outside your comfort zone. And that really matters to us. So Cassie and I, Joanne, now want to thank you for showing up and for being willing to be a part of this team, because honestly, it makes all the difference that your heart's in it and that you're making that effort. The puppy. It makes such a difference, because all of us really want success, and we're only going to get there if we work together. So we appreciate you taking the time. I know it's inconvenient to have calls later at night, and I really appreciate it. Michelle, it looks like you're home. I'm really glad you're not at work. I don't think you're at work. But I just, you know, you guys constantly show up and you constantly make the effort. So I want you to do the same with your challengers. Like, we talked a little bit about inviting people into the group for free before, like just having them sign on as your coach, even if having them sign you up as their coach, even if they weren't buying products. I'm going to let you guys decide how you feel about that. For me, I want to help people. I want to allow people to get better no matter what. But I also value my time, and I value your time as well. So if it's not working out, I want you to feel free to have those conversations and be like, you know what, like, I really appreciate you being a part of the group, but this is really about the products and about, you know, becoming healthier through these programs. So, you know, I hope that the groups have really helped you, but I would appreciate if you would let me know, like, what's keeping you from committing to a program. And sometimes those conversations help to have somebody join us. Amanda has a question. Let me see if I can unmute you.
I think I got it.
You got it? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So Rachel, most of you know Rachel, she is actually just signed up to be a coach. And she has a person that was, I guess, debating and just kind of wanting to come in and do the group and observe and see how she liked it first. And I told her, I said, there are some coaches in our group that won't allow that. There's some coaches that will allow it. It depends on what kind of coach you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you set the rule at the beginning, and I was going to kind of tell everyone tonight this, we kind of decided that we're going to set the rule from the beginning that says, hey, I don't mind letting you come in and observe maybe, or we're going to just tell people it's a rule as a part of our group that we will allow people to come in and observe for a month without a commitment. But after that, we need some sort of commitment so that we know that you're truly committed to helping your, you know, getting your health intact or whatever. And that way they know that at the end of the month, we're coming back with a conversation. And if they're not willing to commit, then we're going to have to pull them out. So I think, because I know a couple of us have struggled with how many free people we have roaming around and just kind of hanging out for life.
Yeah.
I think if we kind of set that rule from the get-go with some of these newer ones that we're signing that says, hey, we don't mind letting you hang out for a month, but then we got to talk about some sort of commitment, whether that's a shake or that's a program or both or whatever.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we just have to keep it moving in our group, and we want to make sure we're focusing our attention on people that we can help.
Yeah.
It's hard, but and she's struggling with it, but also I told her, I said, your time is important. So
yes, your time is important, and at some points it becomes negative advertisement, because the people that aren't following a program or aren't doing the meal plan or aren't on Shakeology don't get the results that the people on the programs do. So if they're friends, say I'm not doing any Beachbody related thing, but I'm a member of a challenge group, and I go out and I'm telling all my friends about this group, and my friends are like, you don't look any different. Like, nothing is happening there, you know, like, I mean, that sounds terrible, but it's true. Like, people, if they're not getting the benefits from the group, which a lot of times people that aren't following a program and they're just doing their own thing, they get really frustrated and they think it's not working for them. And they kind of put all of us that have failure in our life know that we really want to put the blame somewhere. So it would be easy to like be like, oh, I'm a part of this group, it's not doing anything for me. So at some point it can have that, negative effect. So I think it's a great idea to let them go in and do that. Honestly, like, I was thinking about this as well, but like, I don't know that I would do the entire time either. Like, I want people to get in there and I want them to have help. I think doing the month and then having the re-eval is a good idea. But again, like, they have to be signed under you as a coach too. I think that's a non-negotiable.
Yeah, totally.
Because if there's somebody else's, I've had this happen before where people wanted to sign up because they heard our challenge group was really great, but they had another coach. And so they were buying products from a different coach and coming and getting the benefits of our support network. And like, I don't think that part's fair. So make sure that they're signed under you as a coach, because in any shape or fashion, if they do choose to go with a program or anything like that, your time is valuable and you are putting your blood, sweat, and tears into them. Like, if they're going to buy products from Beachbody, it should be from you. So.
Yeah, I told Rachel that. I said that's a non-negotiable for us. Like, you have to be able to support this person. And later on down the line, when they decide they are ready to purchase, you don't want them going in on beachbody.com by themselves and forget to tell you that they did it. And then you're like, hey, I bought a package today. I hope you get the credit for it, when you don't get the credit. I told her, I said, you have to have them make you their coach. And if they're not willing to do that, then sorry. Like, that's love.
They have to, my thing is that they have to make some commitment to you as a coach, because you're making a big commitment to them to be their coach. So like, if they're not willing to even sign you on or like have a free membership to Beachbody, then the group's not going to be that helpful for them anyway. Like, they have to be able to you have to make a commitment at least to choose to do it. And if the rules aren't followed, then we don't have that many rules. It's pretty much don't be mean to people and sign up for a free account. Like, those are the 2 rules. So
yeah, if no negativity, and get a free coach.
Yeah, if you can't get on board with that, then we're in trouble. So
then stay home. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's the big thing. So I'm super excited that she became a coach. She looks like a freaking fitness model. So that's awesome.
I know. And I've been working on her for a while now. And I think she's ready. And she's so good at it. I told her, I said, you're already doing it. Like, you're doing it and you don't want to give yourself credit for it, but you're doing it already. And like, people at the bank ask her what she's doing. People on vacation ask her what she's doing. People she doesn't know ask her what she's doing. Like, she's already clients coming out from all sides, and she doesn't want to admit that. So I finally got her to admit it.
She posted a before and after bathing suit picture before she ever signed up to be a coach. So
I know.
Let's be real. Okay, good. I'm glad that worked out. All right, let me check my little notes here because all right, so 2 more things. I'm going to be fast. One is just talking about Teen Cup, and 2 is just, I'm going to leave you with like a Tony Robbins empowerment speech. So the first thing, so Teen Cup, don't sweat it. Show up, because we're going to go over a lot of material. Cassie and I are going to invite, we're going to tell you, what we're saying, how we're doing. We planned on kind of, if we're having good conversations, putting it in the thread so you guys can see it. I know, Amanda, I've sent you a few messages in the past that I was doing just to show you a little bit about like how I say things, and like, like warm market and cold market are totally different. You're going to talk to your friends and family way different than you're going to talk to your lawyer from 7 years ago, so those types of conversations you just have to, find your voice for. We do want you to think in the back of your mind both about your short-term goal. So for Teen Cup, think about how many people you want to message per day. Think about Success Club, and if you're reaching for 5 or 10. If you want to grow your business, one of the things at Summit that was just hammered in, they're like, it's fine if you don't hit Success Club. It's not that big of a deal. like don't beat yourself up about it, but it is a benchmark in growing your business. So if that's what you're looking for and you want to move this forward, then hitting Success Club 5 is really going to help you. And the reason for that is that you get free customers from Beachbody. So that's going to grow your business exponentially from the start. So why not do that? So if you're, with the Team Cup and with the specials that we have on all the challenge packs this month, and with us holding each other accountable and increasing the amount of invites we send out. Like if I'm being completely honest, last month I invited 5 days of the month and I invited about 4 or 5 people a day. So like if I up my ante and I'm inviting every day, that's automatically going to put me in front of more people. And not only is it going to get me more no's, but it's going to get me more yeses. So I think that us holding each other accountable in this little mini group is going to be really great, because it's just going to put a little bit more, drive behind us. I don't even want to say pressure, because that's not the feeling that I want you to have behind it. I want you to feel driven to do your best in it. And I want you to have goals to reach, because like I said before, you can't follow a map to a destination if you don't have one. So make sure you're thinking about your goals. Long-term goals, I want you to think about a 3-month goal for you. So everybody on the team, I would really love for you to have a 3-month goal. We have some teachers that are going back to work. Maybe snarling. We have some mamas that really want to come home from work. We have some mamas that want to stay home from work. We have some ladies that would love to stop working. So we want to get you where you want to be. And the only way to do that is if we know where that is, and we can start, like Cassie said, to reverse engineer those goals. Cassie and I are working on our own. I know Joe's got some big goals this year. So all of you guys be working on that. We do have, Deborah, I believe, is going to go through our new coach training. So Joanne's going to put her through that. So if anybody else has any coaches that need to get started up, we probably are going to start it on a different date, just because we were coming back from Summit and we want to get that fired up. So if anybody has anybody that needs to go through it, Amanda, I don't know if you want Rachel to go through that from the get-go, or you want to kind of just step her into it. I know she's been a little timid. So you guys just let me know exactly what you need. So that's that. We'll get that message strand started for the cup. And then, all right. So the last part that I want you to hear me say, because I went to Summit with this, like, most of you guys know, like, I've had some friends that have not been on board, and it's kind of like it dug out a little bit of my heart there for a little bit. I went to Summit and I got that hole filled. So I feel like $1 million. And I sat in a room the other day, and there was a speaker who had cerebral palsy, and she was freaking hilarious. And I'm going to post her video in the group because everybody should see her talk. But she was just talking about all these different things and how she put herself out there and told her story, and people were hating, and saying all kinds of crappy crap underneath. And she was like, how am I ever going to do this? How am I ever going to battle this? And how am I ever going to, overcome this? And she is like a superstar. Like, she's amazing. She gave a shout out to the silent people suffering with lupus. I cried the rest of the talk. She was incredible. So it was that, and a lot of other moments at Summit when people were talking. There was a lady there who was a stay-at-home mom and depended on her husband's income. And she got on a plane. They were moving to a different place, and her husband had gone ahead of time and had all the furniture moved and was meeting the furniture trucks and whatever, got on the phone with her. She got on a plane with her 2 kids, got to the airport, and her father-in-law was there and told her that her husband had passed away in the few hours that she was on the plane. And so she had to pull herself up and start doing something to make money for her and her family. And she needed to pull herself out of the Great Depression that she was in. And so she started Beachbody, and now she's a great success. So, and she's supporting her family only on that income. So there are so many different stories. Like, I've never gone to a business conference where I just cried 1 million times and had cold chills. And people at Beachbody Summit do not hug. I mean, they don't shake hands, they hug. So I just came back with this amazing sense of, don't hide your light. Tell people exactly how you feel about this. Tell it tell them and shout it from the rooftops what it's done in your life. You may not have this major like life and death situation. You may not have, whatever, but every single one of us sitting in front of this computer today has been changed in some way, or we wouldn't be here. Like some of us didn't even believe in exercise before we started this. So I think it's really important for us to kind of keep our eyes on the bottom line and know that haters gonna hate, but we can't sit there and we can't worry about everybody else. There are so many more things in this life that are so much more important. And one of them is the fact that we only get one body and we only get one chance. And we need to help as many people as we can to stay in that mindset. So I appreciate you guys being here tonight. I know Cassie does. Thank you for being open-minded about Joanne and her team joining us. I know that it's just going to elevate us even more. I'm super excited about the potential of this year, and I want to see every single one of these faces at Summit with us. It's like, it gives me just the biggest warm feeling to think that we're going to have our team there next year. So, and Michelle is coming up to visit me and Jess for Super Saturday. So we get to have part of our team together again this weekend. So that's super exciting. And I definitely want to let you guys know, there should be Super Saturdays everywhere across the country. So if you're curious about what it is, or if there are events near you, go into your Coach Online office and you can use the FAQs to look at locations. You probably won't be able to make it this go around because it's this Saturday, but maybe the next round they hold them quarterly. So that's a great start. So I am going to unmute everybody because I want to hear what you got to say. Maybe manage participants. Okay. I'm proud of myself for recording the call. All right. Everybody is off of mute. So how's everybody feeling, and what's anybody got to say?
Thanks for that post on my wall.
Yeah, dude. Justin Success Club.
Right.
Yeah. So you had to get some recognition. Yeah, man. So congratulations to you. That took hard work. I'm glad. All right. How's everybody else feeling?
Good. Hey, is it uncommon for the Super Saturdays to be on a Sunday? Our local one that's in Charlottesville is, if I read it wrong, but it looked like it was on Sunday.
Ours is on Sunday in Palm Beach as well.
Okay, because I was like, the name says Saturday.
I know.
On a Sunday. I kind of thought it was a typo.
Hold
on. Cassie and Mimi, we're on for tomorrow night, right? Cassandra and Mimi?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Wrong Cassie.
The
Are
Cassies
we
are
call
confusing.
on here, like this thing, or?
We can, or we can just do a regular call, whatever works.
Either works for me.
Okay. And then, Michelle, how are you and Tracy doing with the new group?
We're doing awesome. We had a call last Friday night and we went over everything. And other than this morning, it's been smooth sailing.
Your video was so great, though. I know you were like, oh, shit. But
Michelle, that has happened to Nasia and I multiple times. Sometimes we're deleting each other's shit. Like,
yeah. Like, I saw a post on your page you didn't want there. I took it off. But just rest assured that the 3 people that did see it will leave much better. Your last is really awesome.
I didn't even look at who it was. I just deleted it real fast.
Yeah. No.
It's all good. It's one thing. It's nothing I wouldn't say to anyone else, but it's one thing showing you guys that vulnerability, and then it's another thing showing
the world
that doesn't know or I haven't talked to yet. So
yeah,
but it's all good. I almost thought about leaving it up there, but then that post I put up right after was from failure. Like, oh, I failed at that, but I'll never do that again because now.
Yeah, you learn quickly. Buffer and Hootsuite and all those things take a little getting used to. So I also have a trouble, and I'll warn you about this. I post in the other groups. So like if you're running more than one group at a time, make sure you're clicking on the right one, because I'll post like the water challenge in the regular group and stuff. So just be careful. All right. So everybody's feeling good and feeling confident about August. Anybody have questions about the challenge packs or any of the offers?
Did it update?
So BB Links updated. I don't know, ladies, did you guys try TBV Coach Mobile at all?
I only did the 21-day fix.
That was last month too. You know
No,
what?
it updated because I was checking it all day, and then it finally updated.
Okay.
Sweet. Okay. So it should be all
I
set
don't know
there.
what you guys are talking about.
Okay. babe.
You're going to learn in your coach basics.
Okay. I am so far behind the curve, but I know I have faith that Joanna will hold my hand.
Yes, Joanne will be there, and we can help guide you too. We'll put you in a group with all three of us. We can figure it out. Joe, I need to send you the welcome and startup and all that stuff so you can see it. So I'll do that tonight. And then for the rest of you, like, we'll put up that messenger stream. We'll get started. Start inviting now. You know, we're at the 2nd of August, so we're doing it all month. If you have any questions or concerns, then just let us know. I'm going to go ahead and post that scripting thing in the group tonight. There's also a video about, like, it's from a girl that I don't love, but she's got really good tips. So ignore her attitude and just listen to her words. So I'll put that in the team page too.
Something Krause, she did.
Krause, yeah.
Oh yeah, she does all the scripts from GoPro.
Yeah, and that's what this is based on. The scripting is based on GoPro. And then she went to a Danny Johnson forum, who's a powerful leader in business. And that's what the forming and the sign is from. So that's the video. So I'll post all that in the group, and you guys can look at it at your leisure. Set your goals, and we're going to put a post up in the group in the next day or two just so that you guys can have those goals down, marked down. And then Cassandra and Mimi, I'll see you tomorrow at 6, and the rest of you, I'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Saturday.
Love you.
Saturday. All right. Love you guys. You guys have a great night.
Bye.
Bye
Bye,
guys.
Katha Massima. Bye, guys.